My name is Joaquín Huerta, and I'm very pleased to be here. I come from the University Jaume I from Castellón. We have been always involved in the gvSIG project. We have participated in the development, and we continue supporting the project during this second session. We have a series of applications that have been developed as a support for the process, and as a coincidence, I have here my colleagues from Castellón. We also have another lecture about Burriana, and I would like to talk about Daniel Salafranca from the local police in Castellón, and they are going to tell us about all those issues. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. And I would like to thank the organization, the possibility of being here with you. As you see by the title, our lecture is going to speak on a geo-referentiation program. We have been referencing the different maps of Castellón, and then we have an application of this tool, but we would like to tell you something. When we are speaking about this issue, you always speak about the crime, which is used in the Anglo-Saxon world, which should be an element of transparency, because this allows you to know which is the policy that you are applying in the territory. As far as we are a police body, we are working with things linked to administrative regulations. If the machine allows us to do that, we see that the presentation is linked to a practical case and is divided into two different issues. We will see the introduction and the most serious part one, which are the foundations, and then we will see the practical issues, a series of maps that allow us to work in Castellón, and then a more of a kind of scientific issue. We will have a scientific activity, and I would like to convey 4 ideas to you. So we are the police, the local police of Castellón, and our work is linked to the urban. We are just working with the urban environment. As you all know, the city as a physical structure was born in order to provide safety to the citizens. The trend in the last decades has changed, and we have some feeling of risk, of fear, sometimes in urban environments. So safety is extremely important for the cities, and a secure city is a livable city, is a progressing city, and the citizens can enjoy their rights and uses. This is one of the most difficult areas in Los Angeles, and you see that this is an unsafe place. Here we have a table, and we use different parameters in order to measure the safety. Safety is extremely important, and after we will see that we have this link with georefferentiation. of, in this case, uncivic. I just wanted to have this reference because we can measure in this way the quality of life of a city. We will see which are the cities which are more livable of the planet. In the same way, crime is a key factor and is especially important when we want to measure quality of life, the possibility of enjoying the city. Here we have some clear examples of one of the cities that has suffered a more negative development. This is Detroit. Detroit was one of the most progressive cities. Now is the most unsafe city in the United States. Is not only a question of safety, but this is a key factor. We all know what's the problem. They were even saying that 40% of the prisoners were linked to safety, and they were blocked in Detroit because there was no money to pay the infrastructure which is necessary for that. And this picture is obvious how a city can be abandoned. Is the same place, is the same road, the same street, but in August 2012 there were houses, and the houses have disappeared. So that leads to an abandonment process. I don't want to talk too much about this. We are living in two main branches, public safety. We speak about macro safety and micro safety. And how can we work with that? Micro safety is what affects the quality of life of the citizens. We cannot combat in the national safety, but we can avoid those administrative infractions which affect the quality of life of citizens. This comes from an intellectual current which was born in New York in the 90s with the issue of tolerance zero. Giuliani, Mayor Giuliani was working on that. We are interested, this is to avoid this type of infraction, abandoned animals, which are living on the streets, graffitis, people breaking things, and this can have another type of antisocial activity, and that affects the quality of life of the citizens. That was published by the police department of New York, and is publishing different things. These are problems which can be secondary, but as local police we have the possibility of providing a solution for this, and we are working on that. Those theories, scientific theories like zero tolerance policing and problem-oriented policing, they link vandalism with quality of life and crime, how a city or a neighborhood can be degraded after an abandonment process. The quality of life gets worse, the citizens go away from the city, and then you can have an increase of crime. And you are going to see how in Castellón we are applying science and technology applied to safety. You will see how this is Castellón. This is the plan of Castellón. And this is not an isolated fact. but that gets into a scientific model that we have called the SDIK policing model, and you can see that in the web page. I'm going to give the floor to my colleague so that he develops the most technical part of the presentation. Good morning. I'm going to tell you which is the operation of local police. Traditionally, the study of crime has been tackled by sociology and psychology and other disciplines, although we always had a graphic component of the crime. These are the pin mappings which are being done. Here we have always a plan, and then we can have here El Corte Inglés and other places. And the evolution took place in 2009. We started with Google Earth in order to reference the traffic accidents in many local police bodies. They continue using it in traffic accidents and in many other disciplines too. The city of Castellón bought a product in order to do this georeferencing in traffic accidents. That was the first SIG at state level with some limitation. We could generate automatic reports, but it couldn't apply any mathematical algorithm. But that was the best thing we could get at that moment. In 2011, it was also bought a commercial product called kernel density mapping. We could do this with the kernel algorithm. Then we can observe what happens in space, but that was always a spatial distribution. That also could allow us to generate heuristic models in order to see which were the days and the times in which those facts took place. We were trying to offer the Agency of Urban Mobility of Castellón, in which dates and at which times we had problems with the entrances to garage, and then we could predict where those facts could occur. We are still working on this issue. In 2012, GeoTime allows us to make a temporary modeling of the facts for different types of crimes. We'll link the different crimes with the geo-referenced points. The GIS culture in Castellón started in 2008 in Castellón. Castellón is working with GIS a long time, and there are things that cannot apply to other police bodies because it's a very high cost, and not all the police bodies can pay that money. So then we want to work with open software or with other open software platforms that we have. The police has to adapt to what the society is asking for now, what the citizens are asking for every day to the police. If we do not know which are the demands of the citizens, we will not be able to work. And they are demanding three main things: traffic, living together, and crime. So then we have to work in living together maps. One of the main competencies is living together, and that allows us on heuristic models and thermal maps in order to know which days of the week they need that Castellón is working on 3 types of maps, behavioral, cognitive and pre-perceptive maps. We are working on also on infractions and in the press. Behavioral maps, what are they? They register the areas in which some infractions exist. What is happening in the city? Here we have maps with hotspots, with clusters, and there is a series of infrastructures. Here is the spatial distribution, robberies. Here the unit of analysis. The politicians do not know that very well, because they can say why the human resources are distributed in one neighborhood and not in another, because the incidences take place in a specific district. For instance, the kernel density map by densities using you tell the algorithm to do a buffer of so and so, and it calculates which area of the city meet those requirements. In this case, you say a buffer of so many meters, and then it forms the clusters for the different types of crimes, for instance, or events. And this, we use that for the prevention campaigns which are carried out by the proximity police. We use a geo-referenced database, and then we geo-reference all the calls that have a relationship with an issue. In this case, we are speaking about dangerous dogs in the city. And then we give a buffer of so many meters, and then we see with this geo-referenced when this geo-referenced measure reaches the center of the square, it should have a greater weight, and the fact is there where we have the problems, and where the people is complaining about this and calling us. It's not enough with saying in such a square we are having such a problem, but we need to know hours, day and places where to go. Results wonderful. We have less calls and less infractions. The cognitive data allow us to see how the citizens perceive their space. The citizens' perception is extremely important in this case. We geo-reference, we did a diagnosis in order to see what happened in the city of Castellón, and through the CAT-E study, we geo-referenced all the calls. This was the first time that this was done at a state level, and that was geo-referenced at a national level. Here we see the different questions. Where was the problem? Where was the problem concentrated within the city? The city is not homogeneous. Different neighborhoods have different problems, and it is completely different to have a pin map than having a geo-referenced perception. The result is highly positive. And here we have the perception through alarms. I'm going fast. Another algorithm, which is the K-means. and pre-perceptive maps, which allow us to establish a link between the places which are mentioned in the press in order to see if there is a real relationship between what things are published in the press and which is the link with the reality. Whether that there are events that repeat themselves on time. It is true that it's a bit stopped because this is an issue which is done by the assistants that we had in the local police. I'm going to explain you an indicator about unsafety perception. This indicator takes a territory map and compares it with cluster G of that, and then we calculate this perception of unsafety. This is a weight measure of the number of incidences in a cluster divided by the clusters that we want to measure. I'm going to tell you about the procedure using these three tools. In the end, we have to do everything with open software tools because at a commercial level these tools are very expensive, so we always use open software. Weka is going to allow us for the collection of data, and then we have PrimeStat that allows us to apply all kinds of mathematical algorithms in order to study this in different views. We take here the central district of Castellón, but we can take any place from Castellón. Here we have all the incidences regarding coexistence, whatever exists there. And then we have to treat the calls not as something individual, but as a collective issue that affects everybody. Second phase, data mining. We have to know which is the population, which is the nationality, the level of studies, which is the surface, and how many people is calling us from that area which has been grouped up. Third stage. We delimit the incidences. In the first case, 33,000. In the second, 6,200. We should know which is the type of incidents that we have to take up as unsafety perception. Which why have the citizens a perception of unsafety? Well, we saw alarms, fights, street drinking, or hatchback drinking, and after we have to weight them because it's not the same thing having an abandoned vehicle than mendicity. And then we were conducting a study. This is a project that we are doing, and as far as we do not have data, then we have been using statistics that we had made in 1992, and if we apply the algorithms, we would have all those clusters, but we are only using the clusters which have to do with coexistence problems. Here we gave a buffer of 100 meters in order to concentrate, and it gives us all the information that those four clusters have social and demographic values from all the people living there. You see that we went to a micro space, and we are in the central district, and we have a ratio of 100 meters. We apply the formula, and says that the cluster 4 is the one having an index of per section higher than the average plus the typical deviation, standard deviation. And finally, and this is what we are doing now, we are working in predictive statistics. We may know what happens in the city, and how this how this takes place. So then we do a multiple regression, also weighted, and this is a predictive model. This quote, and I'll finish. Perhaps what I'm telling you now will seem science fiction to you, but in a few years' time you will see that we can do that, and in fact we are doing it. Thank you to WECA, SIG, gvSIG, and CrimeStar for allowing us to use those tools, and thank you very much for your attention.
Hello, my name is Enrique. You said you use all that information to plan police resources. In what time bands, basically, I mean to say, do you use this week's data to plan next week's work or next month's work? Well, georeferencing is done automatically, so we just process the information, the data. If we want to launch a campaign for street drinking, in a given district, we do it automatically. We draw data automatically. So would you say you do it weekly, on a weekly basis? Yes. And do the police have a mobile device to collect information? Yes, all vehicles have a geographic information system. We know where vehicles are at all times. Yes, what about PDAs? Yes, so we do have PDAs, and we will have more, but it's a budget thing for internal reasons. Part of the budget was allocated, but we're still pending approval for the remaining devices. The gvSIG community misses, this as a tool. Yes, that's why I said it, because I know with gvSIG systems have been put in place for reporting things to the police. People reporting things. Yes, it has a lot of security implications, obviously. With security forces, like, the Catalonian police, they are doing the georeferencing with gvSIG. Yes, and the Castellón example, it takes money. It's a shame, really, not to be able to use the 21st century tools which are in the free market, in the open source market. And, investment anyway could be shared by different security forces and groups, of course. That's what we tell them. We encourage them to use all these tools. We tell them how to use them. Are there any more questions? Well, it's really reassuring to know.